Always remember, your focus determines your reality. Stay close to me, and you'll be safe.
Hey guys, how are we doing today? Hopefully you guys are all pretty well out there. Today's video, I wanted to go over the Bounty Hunter faction. So this is kind of to keep the series going with the faction guides, modding and all that sort of stuff. So today I want to do the Bounty Hunters. Also, I have some bad news I want to bring up before we get in today's video. For streaming and my intro music that I use for my streams, the Religious Man one, it is now copyrighted, so I cannot use it anymore in my streams, which is very sad. So yeah, I was like gone this whole weekend from like Friday until like just yesterday on Wednesday, and I'm like getting notifications I can't use it anymore. So we'll have to just figure something else out. Anyways, today's video, the Bounty Hunters, the faction, what they can beat, what they can't beat, they can handle a lot of stuff. So first things first, I only really have one big battle to show you that's probably the most important counter for these guys in 5v5. There is not really a video I'm going to be making about a faction guide in regards to 3v3 and for the Bounty Hunters and really anybody in the game. So this is more for 5v5 situations. And guess what? The next JC season will be 5v5, so it works out great. Okay, so there's going to be 5 guys that are going to be the best for you in this team. If you are thinking about other counters that are not going to be relating to Darth Revans, then there's for sure going to be different leads you want to be using. I would say the 3 leads you will be using the most in this whole faction will be Django Fett number 1, Bosk number 2, and then there's an off lead you can use, which is Aura Singh. This one is probably the fastest contract you can get out of the whole faction in terms of getting the contract popping, the Mandalorians disintegrate. So all that sort of stuff's great. And you usually see that counter with Aura Singh being used versus like those Padme teams and other such teams. Usually it's versus Padmes I see the most. And then you got Bosk here, great leadership as well. He's here to give out more protection, more durability and tenacity to the whole Bounty Hunters, and even more recovery with protection and health. It's amazing. This one in the contracts, it's a good one, but at times it's hard to maneuver around the enemies because of different taunts and such. So you have to hit the weakest enemy 10 times. It's a great one. You can use it in some circumstances and really most, but if you are like really needing just like an easy peasy lead to kill lots of different things, and with more offense and more speed, then this is the next one you want to go for. The next one here is Django Fest. So this lead is actually one of the best leads in, not like the game, but like when you're thinking about non-GLs and those non-big boy teams, this is probably like one of the next best leads in the game for Zetas. Because with a Zeta, you gain a bit more offense if you have Bounty Hunters Resolve. So in the game right now, you have, I think, 3 different guys who have that. Both Fetts, Django and Boba Fett, and then now you have the Mandalorian. So that's just a bit more offense, which helps killing guys a bit faster, and especially in the Darth Revan counter. So it's a great lead here for the Bounty Hunters. I do recommend the Zeta if you are thinking about using these guys against the Darth Revan teams, because guess what? As time goes on in either TWs or in JCs, people are starting to get slower Darth Revans and slower Maliks, and even slower BSFs. So this makes it even easier to kill those teams if they do happen to have a slower Darth Revan. Darth Revans that are slower are usually slower because they are trying to stop the Darth Vader counter. But now, if you want to build up your Bounty Hunters, you can beat those slower teams if you want to. So pretty much for the modding here, we'll go into modding now. You really want to go for either an offense set or a crit damage set on most of these guys. So the first one let's go over is Django Fett. I have an offense set with crit chance and some speed. So there's a turnover to this whole thing. We'll get into that later, but right now let's go over the mods, the sets. Definitely, I think the offense is a huge one to have. Crit chance as well. So recently we have the Kenobi that's come in the game, and you need a Relic 7 Django Fett. So if you have one that's like that, you're going to be so set. He's going to be one of the best investments in that whole requirements because of what you get out of his uses in the Bounty Hunter faction encounters. So lots of extra offense, lots of crit chance. That's really it. You want to go for speed on the arrow. Then you want to go for some crit damage here, some offense here, and try to sprinkle in some more crit chance and offense as, with the other secondaries. So very simple. You can even go for a crit damage set, like I said, instead of the offense. Next up, let's go for Bosk. Bosk, Very simplistic. You just want a speed set and some health. You could even go for some defense if you wanted to, but I feel like health is the best one to go for. So this guy, you just want two different things, speed and lots of protection. So you want him to be the fastest on the team, so give him one of the fastest sets with those primaries. I have a protection one here, protection one there, and guess what? A protection one as well on the circle. So pretty simple there, just speed and protection, guys. Next up here is Boba Fett, pretty similar to Django Fett. And like I said, we'll go into the turn orders in a little bit, but pretty much same thing. You can either go for an offense or a crit damage one, but I definitely feel like you got to have that crit chance because you got to crit on some of those big hits. I know there are some people who mod the guys, the Darth Revans or even the BSFs for critical avoidance. You really got to get crits on those guys. So pretty similar to that, which is of Django Fett, but you can kind of go in and swap out some of these, critical damage for offense and kind of vice versa there. So there you go there. Next one is a very simple one, and it's for the Mandalorian. So this is one of the most important pieces to the puzzle in this counter and in many different counters with these guys in GAC and TW. So this guy, you definitely want a crit damage set, but also you want crit chance. The one thing that you want to change out, though, is getting a critical chance triangle to maximize his crits, because on his unique, on I think it's this one right here, yep, right here, whenever he scores a critical hit, he gains 30% turn meter, and then the other bounty hunters gain half of that amount. So 15% for the other bounty hunters and 30% for himself. So you really want to make sure that you can maximize the crit chance here, and it only helps the hierarchy you have him, because guess what, with his mastery, you get even more critical chance, and it just helps so much more with that whole thing. You can even go for, I'm pretty sure you can go for even a full-on crit chance set for 3 of them and just maximizing that crit chance to the fullest to make sure you get crits no matter what. But I think this is a nice one for me. I get like best of both worlds for some more damage for 1 and then some more crits for 2. And it's just kind of nice. So yeah, you don't need really fast mods there. And then last but not least, let's go over Mr. Grief Carga. This guy, you want to have the second, and like I said, we'll go over turn order in a little bit, but pretty similar to Bosk. You want to have him very fast, and you want to make sure that he has a lot of durability, a lot of protection and health. So yeah, right now I have a broken set, one of which is a crit chance and one of which is an offense. This is just to make him a bit faster than usual. But if I really was serious about this guy, I would go for a bit more protection here instead of the defense, and just trying to stack as much more speed as possible here. So he is currently 299. Okay, guys, so the next thing here I want to go over is the turn order. This is probably the best turn order in every single use you want to have these guys for GAC on the offenses. These guys are not very important on defense nowadays, unless you're a bit lower division, then I guess, sure, they are pretty good, but for those people in Division 2 or 1, these guys are, and with how you want to use them, are usually for the offensive, and you want to have a pretty nice turn order. So let's go into it. Like I said, speed. You want to have Bosk being the fastest one here. You want to have him, I would say, if you're using Django Fett lead, which we are using here, you would probably want to go for, to play it safe, the 310 or more mark. So 310 or 311 is mine right there. And that's the first guy in the turn order. Second one is going to be Grief Carga. Like I said, you can probably bump him up even more because it's barely 300. You definitely want to get him a bit higher just to make sure that you can outspeed those Darth Revans that are a bit faster. So again, I would go for both Bosk and Grief to be around 310. Mine's not the best right now, but that's probably what I'd say is ideal for like almost every single case out there. Okay, so that's the second guy. The third guy you want to have here is going to be Mr. Boba Fett. So this is a reason as to why you want him this third in the turn order, is to, in this counter, to use Execute to remove some more buffs and to make sure that he gets out the damage before Django Fett, because guess what? You, on this special, they can't evade it. So if there are some foresights on the field, he gets rid of them. And then that allows for the next person in turn order, which number 4, Django Fett, going right afterwards and using his shrapnel blast, because this one can be evaded, and you want to make sure that Boba Fett goes before to remove the dodge, and that way he can one-shot somebody. And in this counter to Darth Revan, we'll show in a little bit, you'll be one-shotting the Darth Revan almost every single time. Even if he has crazy high relics, all that sort of stuff, you will be one-shotting him regardless. So that's why you want the turn orders to be having Boba Fett going before Django Fett to maximize the damage output. And that's why he is just 3 speed lower than Boba Fett there. And then the last but not least here is the Mandalorian. The reason why you don't have to have fast speeds on him is because he gives out turn meter as he just hits people with the critical hits. So having him very last actually helps out a lot, because that way you don't have to really worry about having a very fast mod set for him. You can just really focus on the damage, the crit chance, and the crit damage as you will. So it's really just having Boss go first with his taunt, then Grief with his assist, and then having Boba Fett come in and clear out some of those buffs, and then Django Fett comes in and just wipes out somebody, and then the Mando can come in and do some extra hits whenever he gets his turn. So now, with all being said, let's go and show you this counter. Like I said, guys, I could probably go off and show you like so many different counters with these guys, but I feel like right now in the game, this is probably one of the only counters I have ever used these guys with. They can beat lots of other stuff that is pretty good, you know, for Mon Mothmas, some Night Sisters, so on and so forth, Padmes even. But I do feel like this is probably the most significant one. This one is the one that is worth making a guide on. And just because, you know, these guys are useful in so many different aspects. They're a lot like the Imperial Troopers because they can beat a lot of the same stuff, but the Troopers can be a little bit more. But these guys are definitely worth building up to kill stuff like this Darth Revan. So let's go and show you this counter. This is like, I think, from a JC stream a little while ago. So it's this team right here. Pause. It's with Darth Revan, Malak, BSF, Pre-Taunt with Sith Trooper, Sith Empire Trooper, and then we got HK. So I feel like the only times this can be a bit dicey is if the Darth Revan goes before. And if it does go before, then I would really recommend to not use this counter. That's why we want to make sure that we have both Bossk and Grief going first. Okay, so let's go and show you step by step what's going on here. Let's slow down a little bit. Here we go, normal. Let's go to 0.5. Why not? All right, so first things first, Boss goes first, he taunts, he gets Frenzy, he gains his taunt and those buffs, and even more offense up. Okay, now we want to dispel the pre-taunt on Sith Trooper, and as we see, the Mando gets a lot of extra bonus turns in. And next up here in this counter, we want to get rid of the Foresight on the BSF. So we're going to be using this Mass Assist with Bossk here in a little bit, as soon as I press the freaking button. All right, there we go. So we use the Mass Assist on BSF. Just so that this next turn with the Mando, pause, he does go a bit before the Fets do, but that's only because of his his turn meter he gains from his critical hits. So it's just really nice to have him slower because you don't have to really worry about that, guys. But he does go before him in this counter in this instance, which is kind of nice because that way we can now call in Django Fett to double tap the BSF and to kill her before she does any of her fears. Because as you can see, she has a lot of TM right now. So pop, already dead. And then Boba Fett comes in before Django Fett, which is important because we can now remove the Foresight. Remove the Foresight right here with Boba Fett's special. And now we can do another little tap with Bossk. And then the fireworks come and they just blow him out of the park with Darth Revan, and rather with Django Fett killing Darth Revan with the shrapnel blast. So as we see here, boom, 70k. That was just one hit. So more than enough, guys. More than enough. So after this, very simple. You pretty much already won, and this is where you're trying to maximize the banners. So we want to try to get our contracts. So we want to be hitting some of the people with debuffs here, because you got to keep in mind the contract with Django Fett lead is you got to hit the debuffed enemies 20 different times. So it's very important. It's very crucial to have that and to hit those marks. So we do that, and same thing. You want to be keeping hitting those guys with those debuffs. You might, from time to time, lose somebody here. Like, you might lose a Bossk, but that's probably the only person you'll ever find yourself losing and having die off in this counter. For the most part, you'll be getting high banners. It is just, at this point, really important to get the Mandalorian's contract and making him annihilate the Malak, because he's really the only person here who can kill the Malak. So let's see. I think we just got the contract right there, and they're gonna go skadoosh onto the trooper. Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And then we're gonna taunt again, and then guess what? Mando comes in and he just one-shots with his disintegrate. So that is a 59 banner win. Very, very good, especially against one of the best. Not best, but maybe more the annoying defensive teams in the game for GAC, guys. So, there we have it. Darth Revan counter. I guess we could have gone into some more. You can always use Bossk counter and Bossk lead versus that same team, but only if you have a very fast Bossk that can go before. But I prefer the Django Fett lead because of the extra offense you get to make it even easier to kill that BSF and the Darth Revan a bit faster on in the battle. So, yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. We could have gone over more counters, and some Night Sisters, some Padme, some really anything. Mon Mothma's really anything that we can beat here. But I feel like this is the most important one to showcase for these guys in the modding, in the strategy as to how you want to go about them in GACs and TW. So guys, relic levels, I guess, wrap it up. You don't really have to have high relics on your Grief or even really your Mandalorian. I say though that if you want to kill some Darth Revan's, you definitely want to have some high relics or some decent relics onto the main three, both Fets and then the Bosk. So that's pretty much it, guys. I probably should have said that a bit earlier in this guide, but that's really it. That's really all there is to it. Very fun team, very fun counter to use against those guys in GAC. Hopefully this is useful in some way, shape, or form. If you guys have any other guides, any other factions you want me to go and cover for you in the series I want to keep going, then let me know down below in the comments. If you guys are having some different opinions down below on what I just mentioned and what I brought to the table, let me know as well down below. But yeah, I would love to hear you guys' thoughts and comments about this. If you guys have any other video ideas you would like me to go and cover, let me know as well, guys. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, share it around, and sub if you guys have not subbed already. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I will see all you guys next time. See you later. Peace out. Bye, guys.